just clinging on his soul and don't let him to go. He cannot understand that the new messenger of God has come. These are all abrogated. The abrogation, he could not get out of it. Unfortunately, he remained Muslim, and still it is. But mind you, I had seen the other people that were in the immensity of the materialism and sex. I'd seen a lot of them in the high part of Iran. They were the same thing. When you were talking about religion, they say, get a life, man. What do you mean God? What's God? What's religion? These are all BS. Some Arab guy, Muhammad name, came and did all of this. Those are gone. Look at the West, look at this and look at that. I see that it's impossible. He cannot penetrate. All he thinks is sex. That's all. Youth at that my time. Or the wealthy people, generals in the army and whatnot. I remember one of them was a friend of mine, Siavash, when I became Baha'i. He saw me, he said, I swear to God, Abbas, I cannot recognize you. You're still the same guy, 18, but you've aged like 100 years. You're so wise, you're so powerful. I have to show it to my dad. I said, okay. So he took me to his father, I think General Asghari, that's his name. He was a colonel, but then he became general. And his father, he saw me, and I think his uncle was there too. And they were just saying that, where did you get this power? This boy talks to us like he's like a royalty or something. And I was very polite when I was talking to them. And they didn't know where this power comes from. I told them, just imagine there's a king that you have never heard of his name, sir. And his ambassador comes to you and talks to you. How do you feel? You must feel the glory in that man somehow, because he's close to the biggest king in the world. He says, perhaps. I said, well, this king is an invisible king, but this little planet Earth is nothing of his power. I am coming from him. Who is that king? I said that his name is Baha'u'llah. He was jumping right off the table. My God, I couldn't believe the Baha'is are so powerful. I said, I don't know why you think Baha'is are powerful, but he must have seen some Baha'is. He says, oh, I'm going to start talking to them and whatnot. Shoghi Effendi, I remember at the time of Iran, I'm going to be speaking about this later on anyways. I was seeing the Baha'is in Iran when I became Baha'i. Gradually, this friend of mine, Tawheed, took me to one of his things, and Mr. Mubahid actually took me. And I saw the Baha'is they're not wearing proper dress. It's like totally like Western type of clothing, short skirts and everything. It's just totally against the Iranian culture. We were totally embarrassed and sweating. We couldn't even witness this. And I told him, what is going on? What is this? He said, well, Baha'u'llah's allowed any way people want to dress. I said, I cannot see this. Thanks God, I was reading one of the interpretations of Shoghi Effendi. He said that I've ordered the Iranians. He says that my first order to the national spiritual symbol of Iran is that say to the Baha'is, do not dress and imitate the women of the West. Do not do that. Do not do this partying and dancing, crazy dances and everything else. He says these are the wrong things from the West. Learn from the good things of the West. He used the word hasanat, which means the perfections, the great things of the West. Not these things. He says these things, if you do, the society will disintegrate. I showed to Mr. Mubarak, I said, well, what Baha'u'llah says, Shoghi Effendi interpreted this way. He kept quiet. He said, Abbas, don't talk about this thing. I said, don't bring me to these gatherings like this, because I just see that, how destructive it is to the Baha'is. And then many times, Shoghi Effendi said that Baha'is do not enter into the politics, including to the army. Do not go into the army. Don't become a general or something like that. If you're forced compulsory that you have to go do the work in the kitchen or do something else, try not to get engaged in having a rifle killing people. But unfortunately, a lot of Baha'is in Iran were big generals. because their approach in propagations of the Baha'i faith was a political approach. You can have a quality, very spiritual quality. You want to take this spiritual quality there, Baha'i faith. You could do it through the means of the Baha'i faith, which is the world order of baha'u'llah, through his administration system, through the way he wants it. Or you can take your own administration system and say that, no, I'm going to have to become a big politician, a big generals, and I'm going to go talk to the king and this and that and take the name of the Baha'i to those places. Something that does not help at all. When Abdul-Baha was in England, Lady Bloomfield brought to Abdul-Baha that I could make a meeting between you and the Queen and you talk. King ideas at that time. And Abdul-Baha said no. It's not necessary at all. For a king or a queen and all this become a Baha'i, that will not help the humanity. It's not about big names. This, they could help themselves to, establish names around here so people can hear it. But a lot of people, they could hate that politicians. If he becomes a Baha'i, there might just thousands of people, they never become Baha'i because of him, because they don't like him. But if he becomes a Baha'i on his own, nobody can prevent it. Then he's a Baha'i. We can't say that, okay, you were a bad king or you were a bad politician. You're allowed to be a Baha'i if you are, but we plan and manipulate you to come into it. No, this is not good. Finally, in this discussion tonight, I have to say Baha'i faith is distinguished completely from any religions in the past that it has something called world order of baha'u'llah. In the past, ideologies and religion was given to mankind and you just go ahead, do whatever you can to establish it. Baha'u'llah says, no, I'm taking this task away from the mankind. I do not want no Atlas to hold the planet on his shoulder. No, he says, I created a world order with two institutions in the world called the Institution of Universal Laws of Justice, presently at 1963 elected by all the Baha'is of the world. And as in the codifications and the synopsis of Kitab al-Aqdas says, anticipation to the government, to the Universal House of Guardianship with the 5 elders remaining to do that, and I'm one of them, 3 of us proposed that, how to establish the Universal House of Guardianship. These two institutions, one legislate, one interprets together like mother and father. They will, by election only, they come up, and they are in the national and local level, and this administration is the cargo, is the practical means to take Baha'i faith where it has to go. But if a great teacher comes right down in Canada, let's say, and I start to teach, put his money in the TV, whatever, and thousands of people will come through the Baha'i faith and they know him as a great teacher, this is such a big, huge task that no sound Baha'i wants to go undergo, because it will split in no time. There will be 1,000 fractions. Every, body says something else. This is why we do not have an individual leader. That has to be elected 9 people, called National Spiritual Assembly of Canada, which there's a problem with it because the National House of Guardianship is not there, not yet proposed. We proposed it, but Baha'is are not ready to understand it yet, but they will soon in the future. So, I've spoken a lot about the laws that identifies the Baha'i faith, its parameters, boundaries, and identifies the prohibited places where there are ditches and dumps and dangers, and abrogates the laws that were used in the past to construct the faith, gets it away. Then he brings the personal rules to protect the body and the soul. But none of this, so far that I said, is going to create qualities and attributes of a spiritual ascendancy. None of it yet. It is my topic next time. What method Baha'u'llah has invented that it cannot come to the head of anybody in the planet, and I'm seeing that. There is no one can propose right now to me, sit down, or to anybody, that how do we become a spiritual besides the conventional way of giving, serving, I don't know, sacrificing, giving your money, fighting for the truth, philanthropy, environmental, all of that. There's no other way people they know. Baha'u'llah invented new ways. That you're not just getting one attribute, but you get many at a time. What a beautiful invention it is. What a mechanism he has used. Oh my God, what a marvel it is. What a marvel it is. That can take you from here with the speed of light to the point that you surpass all understanding of the people. You become something that billion years from now if mankind gets, he can't pass that. That would be the final abode, the final station that a man can be. At our time, he has ways to do it. It has been in the past too, but not as strong as it is in the Baha'i faith, not even comparable at all. And these are personal rules, not the society as a whole. For you and I, is invented the mechanism that makes us to go with you are going on your donkey, to the road. He has created for you an airplane. Phew, you can go fast. And I'm going to be speaking about that, hopefully tomorrow night. For now, may God be with you, and may Baha'u'llah give me time to be alive, to say what I have to say to you, and at least do part of my mission as an elder, which is the reconstruction of the Baha'i faith for you. My dear friend, may God and Baha'u'llah be with you. I will speak to you tomorrow night, God willing. Thank you.